Okay, so in last lecture we have studied about the moment of inertia of plane surfaces. In that we can calculate the moment of inertia of body which is placed in xy plane. Here are the formulas, that is moment of inertia about x axis is equals to what summation of I is equals to 1 to n of ai into yj square. Similarly about y axis it is given here, that is moment of inertia, that is I y is equals to summation of j is equals to 1 to n aj into xj square. Now further we have to discuss about the moment of the radius of gyration, whose notation is k. Radius of gyration having notation k. Okay, what is radius of gyration? There are two definitions. It is the ratio of, from this formula you can call the definition. Formula is given over here, that is k is equals to I upon a. So we can define from this formula, it is the ratio of moment of inertia of a body about an axis to the area of the shape. Okay, you can write down the definition like this. This is the ratio of moment of inertia of body to the area of that body. This is one definition of moment of inertia, and another is definition is given there. It is defined as the distance from the axis of rotation. It is defined as the distance from the axis of rotation up to which the whole mass of the body is assumed to be placed. Okay, or it is defined as the distance from the axis at which the mass of the body may be assumed to be concentrated so as to give the same moment of inertia. Okay, this is the definition of moment of radius of gyration, and it's, as it is distance, its unit will be meter, centimeter or millimeter, whatever. Okay, next is there are some theorems are given. If we know the moment of inertia of a body about any axis, then we can find out the moment of inertia of the same body about the axis which is parallel to the known axis. Okay, we can find out moment of inertia of any parallel axis. That is, let's see here, I have given a figure here having area A. Okay, and we have, or we know the moment of inertia about this axis, that axis ixx. Okay, xx is the axis, and we know the moment of inertia about that axis, and we have to calculate the moment of inertia about the axis which is parallel. This is pq, which is parallel to xx axis. These two axes are parallel to each other and separated by distance h. Okay, separated by distance h. We know the moment of inertia about the xx axis. We have to calculate the moment of inertia of the same body about an axis which is parallel to the xx and separated by distance h. This distance is h. H is the distance between two parallel axes. Then how can we calculate the moment of inertia of this body about this pq which is parallel to xx? So we have the formula. Okay, here is the formula. Moment of inertia about pq axis. Okay, you can see over here, moment of inertia about pq axis is equals to ixx. That is, we have that moment of inertia ixx plus a into h square. A is the area of body and h is the distance between two parallel axes and its square. Okay, here is the definition. What actually this law state? Okay, it states that the moment of inertia of a plane section about any parallel axis, that is pq, any parallel axis to the centroidal axis is equal. This is centroidal, xx is the centroidal axis as it is passing through the center. Centroidal axis is what? The axis that is passing through the centroid. Okay, I am saying the definition again. It is state that the moment of inertia of a plane section about any parallel axis to the centroidal axis is equal to the addition of this addition. Okay, you can see over here addition of what? Addition of moment of inertia, addition of moment of inertia of a plane section about centroidal axis, that is Ixx. Okay, addition of Ixx and the product of area of plane and the distance of square between two parallel axes. The product of area of the plane and square of the distance between two parallel axes. This is the moment of inertia of an axis which is parallel to the centroidal axis. Okay, got it? Again, I am telling you that if we have to calculate the moment of inertia any parallel axis which is parallel to centroidal axis, which can be calculated by this given formula. Okay, from this formula we can define the principle of parallel axis theorem, and it states that it is sum of the moment of inertia about PQ which is parallel to the centroidal axis is given as it is, or it is equals to sum of moment of inertia of the body about centroidal axis, that is Ix, sum of moment of inertia of a body about centroidal axis and product of area and square of distance between two axes. This is the principle of parallel axis theorem. Okay, now got this? This is the formula. Further we will calculate the moment of inertia of some standard shape. In that case we have to calculate for the same figure we have to calculate the moment of inertia taking different axes. For this purpose we have to study these two theorem, that is moment of inertia about or parallel axis theorem and perpendicular axis theorem. These two theorem we have to use for calculating different moment of inertia. Okay, now after parallel axis theorem there is also perpendicular axis theorem. Okay, you can see the figure here. You can see the figure in which there are three perpendicular axes which are meeting at the same point O. Okay, here is the point of intersection. All these three axes, x axis, y axis and z axis are meeting at the same point, that is O, and all these are perpendicular to each other. They are, all three axes are perpendicular to each other. Okay, and if we know the moment of inertia of the body about x axis and about y axis, and if we have to calculate the moment of inertia about z axis which is perpendicular to this both x and y, then we can use the principle of perpendicular axis theorem. Okay, again let me tell you, if we know the moment of inertia of the body about the x axis and y axis, then we can find out the moment of inertia of the same body about an axis which is perpendicular to this both axis, that is z axis. We can calculate the moment of inertia about this axis by using principle of perpendicular axis theorem. Okay, some consideration are made over here. Let's see that in the figure shown alongside, the x, y, z are the axes passing through the same point and perpendicular to each other. This condition is must. These three axes must be perpendicular and must meet at the same point. Okay, these two things are necessary for applying this theorem. Okay, now the moment of inertia of the object about x, y, z axis is Ix, Iy and Iz respectively. If we know the moment of inertia about Ix and Iy, we know the moment of inertia body about Ix and Iy, then we can calculate the moment of inertia about Iz by using perpendicular axis theorem. See over here, this is the perpendicular axis theorem. Iz is equals to, which is perpendicular to both x and y. Iz is equals to, or moment of inertia of the body about an axis which is perpendicular to the x axis and y axis, is equals to the sum of, this is sum of, okay, sum of moment of inertia of the two perpendicular axes. Okay, I have also defined over here that this perpendicular axis theorem state that the moment of inertia of an object about an axis perpendicular to the plane is sum of moment of inertia of object about the axis perpendicular to each other and which are in the same plane. Okay, this perpendicular axis theorem state that the moment of inertia of an object about an axis perpendicular to the plane of that figure is sum of moment of inertia of object about the axis perpendicular to each other which are in the plane. That means if we have to calculate the moment of inertia of the z axis about this z axis, then we have to add the moment of inertia of the body about the x axis and about y axis which are in the plane of figure. This is the law of or perpendicular axis theorem. Okay, next one is, or this is also known as polar moment of inertia. Okay, let's see. Here is the definition of polar moment of inertia. Okay, what is polar moment of inertia? Its definition is same as the perpendicular axis theorem. See over here, if Ixx and Iyy, this is definition of polar moment of inertia. If Ixx and Iyy are the moment of inertia of a plane about two mutually perpendicular axes, then the moment of inertia Izz about the third axis Zz perpendicular to the plane and passing through the intersection of xx and yy axis is called as polar moment of inertia. Just instead of words they have written over Ix and Iyy for representation of these two perpendicular axes. Okay, and same formula is given over here. Let's see that Izz is equals to Ip is equal, that is polar moment of inertia, which is equals to Ixx plus Iyy. Now here all the concept in the inertia ends. Now we have to study the moment of inertia of some standard figures like square, rectangle, circle, hollow rectangular surface, etc. All these we have to see the formulas, standard formulas are there, we have to study. Okay, now see this one. First we have to write the formula for moment of inertia of the rectangle about x axis and about y axis. Okay, we have to calculate the moment of inertia of this rectangle about x axis and about y axis. Therefore consider a rectangle having width b, okay, given over here, width b and depth d. Rectangle having width b, depth d, and what will be the area? It will be equal to b into d. Okay, now some notation are given over here. X bar is what? The distance of neutral axis from yy. This x bar is this much distance. Okay, x bar is the distance from y axis, which is equals to b by 2. And y bar is what? It is the distance of neutral axis xx from extreme layer, that is d by 2. These are the distance. Neutral axis is what? If the figure is loaded, uniformly loaded, then the axis or plane on which there will be no compression or no elongation, then that axis is called as neutral axis. Okay, so this is neutral definition of neutral axis. Now we have formula: moment of inertia about x is equals to this axis. Moment of inertia of this rectangle about x axis is equals to b d cube by 12. The formula is given. This is about x axis and this is about y axis. b d cube by 12. b d cube by 12. And about y axis it is equals to d into b cube by 12. If it is square, every square is rectangle. Every square is rectangle. Therefore, similarly we can write the moment of inertia at square is what? It's b and d are equal. It is square. Okay, and therefore its moment of inertia, as it is symmetric figure about x and about y axis. Okay, therefore the moment of inertia about x axis and about y axis are same. Moment of inertia about x axis and y axis are same, which is equals to b raised to 4 upon 12 or d raised to 4 upon 12. You can see over here b raised to 4 upon 12 or d raised to 4 upon 12. This is the moment of inertia of the square. Now we have to calculate the moment of inertia of the hollow rectangular section. We have to calculate the moment of inertia of hollow rectangular section. This is equals to about x axis. Okay, here are also two axes are there, x axis and y axis. Okay, we have to calculate the moment of inertia about these two axes. That is, first one, moment of inertia about x axis is equals to b d capital D. Okay, first see the parameter. Capital B is the width of outer rectangle. Capital D is the depth of outer rectangle. Small b, okay, small b is the internal width of, you can see over here, there are two rectangles, outer and inner. Capital B, capital D are the parameter of outer rectangle, and small b and small d are the parameter of internal rectangle. So from that, moment of inertia about x axis is equals to what? Capital B, capital D cube by 12 minus small b, small d cube by 12. And about y axis it is equals to capital D, capital B cube by 12 minus small d, small b cube by 12. These are the moment of inertia or standard formulas. In tomorrow's lecture we will see some more figure and its moment, how to calculate its moment of inertia, and then we will solve some examples on it. Okay, for today we will stop here. Okay, thank you.